Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. My name is Anthony Rigucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area, we get in a basement and we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic is going to be the state of Rockstar. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat. Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you?
I'm good. Hot off my first con after COVID.
And how many years would you say?
When's the last
Before
con?
2020, obviously. That makes sense.
I think the last con I went to was Keystone Comic-Con.
Was that the last one we went to?
Not you.
No, that's
I
right.
I only went a day.
Yeah.
And it was in 2019 in Philadelphia. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to have been.
Time flies when you're not having that much fun, unfortunately. But
yeah.
No, that's cool. How was it? It looked really cool. It looked a lot bigger than even our most recent years.
Our normal con was Wizard World. Wizard World is what came to Philly. That was like
that was the one.
hometown
base, yeah.
Comic-Con. And I guess they got bought out by a company called Fan Expo.
Okay.
And so now Wizard World is Fan Expo.
Interesting.
And
all over. It's Fan Expo. Even at
I guess.
Okay.
But I think Fan Expos existed before this.
sure.
And now they just merged them with their brand.
Interesting.
And from what I could tell, man, like I know from the past Wizard Worlds, we were always harking. It's like it gets smaller every year. It gets more depressing. There's less people.
It's like half the show floor is empty.
This year, the floor felt full of vendors and artists and people and cosplayers, and the way they had the panels laid out and the way they had the celebrity
That's so cool.
Autographs laid out.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is such an improvement on what Wizard World was doing. So
That's awesome. I love to hear it. Seriously, because
I'm
like
really
you said,
looking
those last
forward-
ones were sad a little bit.
yeah, and I think I was telling you yesterday, I'm like, I don't think they marketed this like nearly enough.
No, I agree.
It just seems like they didn't make a big deal about
Almost
it.
non-existent, to be
Yeah, and I'm like,
honest.
there were a lot of celebrities there, and one of the Arthur
The Red
Morgan
Dead crew
and
was there. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Red Dead crew was there.
I
Nolan
was
North
there, yeah.
was there. There was a bunch of voice actors from My Hero Academia. I think the biggest celebrities were probably David Tennant, Ming-Na Wen,
Oh, wow.
Ron Perlman, and I think that there were Shatner.
Oh,
But he's
kind of like, it's so
Shatner
funny.
is
He's
in
like,
the
he's
con
just,
role.
I was
He
going to
does
say,
a
he's
lot.
just been grandfathered into just like fandom like that in the way of like, he's just this part.
he's so big that like
He's
when's
like
the-
90.
When's the last thing William Shatner was in?
Let's see. William Shatner. I want to say it might be like a Star Trek movie. Like one of the old ones.
I'm surprised he wasn't in the new ones. In like
No, they only do that like picture of the old crew in the one.
right.
And
Yeah, I
then-
guess that wouldn't make sense.
But
Spock was enough. And Leonard Nimoy was enough. And Leonard Nimoy was more active than him. Leonard Nimoy was in Kingdom Hearts.
that is, I mean, he did a lot of voice work actually. Leonard
Yeah.
Nimoy, surprisingly.
He went down the Mark Hamill path.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see. The last thing it looks like he did was in 2021. He was in My Life is a Murder a TV series. So apparently he's still working. And he is, how old now? He's like fucking. He was born in 1931.
He is 89?
Yeah, I think so. Something around there.
31?
Insane. Yeah.
92.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Insanity. But that's cool, man. I'm really happy to hear that it was it was a lot of fun. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because like those other ones were
I got
tough.
the shirt, replaced the Batman Fat Bat
Need the fat bat
logo.
Love the fat
finally. I saw it and I was just like,
bat. I have to have it.
not a lot of statues though.
You know,
The statue game was fucking weak.
I
There were
will
a lot
say-
of anime statues, and I was like, I see them, but they're not. You know me. I always have that feeling.
yeah,
There's that
statues. You can get
I'm
you can
full.
get just as good deals on Amazon now and stuff like that. Even
Yeah,
if you
but like
want,
picking it up from a con is
of
kinda
course,
cool.
no, it's nice. Yeah, absolutely.
I saw some Diamond Select ones. That's the Daredevil and the Captain Marvel.
I think that's
that
the
were
kind-
for the Spider-Man game.
Also, I think the Venom one that I have is a Diamond Select one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, those are good ones and relatively cheap too. If I'm thinking correctly, the Captain Marvel one, right? You're saying? Is the
Yeah,
Diamond Select
they're
one?
like under 100.
Yeah, they're like the Venom one I got was like $45, and I mean the paint's a little bit off, but I think for the most part it's really cool.
And guys, before we jump into our podcast, we do usually like to shoot the shit. Trio. We went to see Tim Dillon a few weeks ago.
We did. That was fantastic. I mean, that was so much fun. Tim Dillon, one of my favorite comics, if not my favorite comic. pretty cheap tickets, I feel like, for what we
Yeah,
saw. But we were definitely packed in there. You know, I got hot and sweaty like I normally do.
Dude, the Parks Casino experience.
Dude, no, but
that ID.
So yeah, we were trying to get in. It took us like, it's weird. They must not get big crowds of people a lot. It must be people just trickling in, and you're just supposed to swipe your card. But like everyone was showing up for the Tim Dillon thing, and they have to card everyone.
And we were in this like unorganized line
where this guy just took our IDs.
Yeah, no. So first we're on the other side, and there's a big line. The guy's like, "Hey, like I guarantee you it'll be quicker on the other side. Go over there." And we're like, "Okay." So we go outside the casino, and we walk in. It's like a similar entrance. It's just like
it's around the corner, literally
other side of the building, and the line's like shorter, but like. You can tell the same thing's kind of going on here. Absolutely. And we're in line for a sec, and like, you know, we're kind of like, and then this guy, this casino worker comes up and starts taking everyone's IDs.
Well, and he takes them in, and like, we're just like, oh, why did we get them our
And
ID?
immediately, I think, like as soon as he walked away, I'm like, dude, he has my fucking ID.
No, I know.
This jabroni just took my ID and walked away. And then I think everyone else was kind of like in the same boat, like, yo, this guy just took our ID. And
well,
like,
we're like, what's going on? There wasn't really any communication as to what he was doing.
He's just sitting on the computer, and this computer's taking forever, and he's scanning us in, and finally Trio gets called. I have to be next. I'm next. And
he gets called.
Thank God.
And he did seem to collect them in the order that he put them in the order he collected them. So
did.
Whatever. It was a bit of a shit show, but the actual comedy show was great.
Yeah, the opener was funny. I forget his name.
I forget his name. A very
Omar?
unknown guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something like that. He was. I've never heard of him before. He seems to be like. He was like, he's a teacher. Like, this is a side thing. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I always debate. I'm like, is he lying or is he
I don't know. Well, I listened to his podcast after that, and he was talking about that. He's like, we probably shouldn't mention where I work because, like, you know, I am still a worker. So I am. Yeah. He's like apparently like a guy too. Yeah. So that was really fun. But Gooch, what else have you been playing, watching, doing besides Mr. Tim Dillon?
I did have one other thing kind of in that vein. I saw The Midnight a few weeks ago for the second time.
All right.
That was fun.
It looked like a great time.
Solo experience, VIP tickets, got to meet the guys, shoot the shit. They answered my questions first.
That's cool.
It was like really, I was
Gooch
just like,
was like, yes.
I was like getting ready, like, oh, I'll take my phone out in a sec. This question's from Anthony. I'm like, whoa.
What the fuck?
I wasn't ready. So like, I think I had a question regarding their music, and then the first one they asked was like, I'm like, what was your favorite game and or movie from 2021? And that's what they started with. I'm like, oh, we started with a low bar, and then the questions just got like more about the band and more deeper. I'm like, okay, good.
That's good. No, you start out a little bit more basic. No, that's good.
Yeah, and I was like sitting there, and I'm like, hey, like they're
that's
like,
awesome.
It must have been like 30 or 40 people in the VIP. It was
really cool.
We got into Union Transfer early and got merch early.
Just got to hang out. Cool. Yeah, that's really awesome. That's in Philly?
Union Transfer's on Spring Garden Street.
I don't think I've ever been to that, interestingly enough. Is it a smaller venue?
Have you been to Franklin Music Hall, which was...
Only place I've ever saw a concert at was in Camden at the big...
Okay, it's a smaller venue.
Gotcha, yeah. Okay, that sounds really cool.
But... back to what I've been playing, obviously Elden Ring for Horizon Midwest. They're on. Of course.
They're just
We're getting there. Horizon will probably be first.
You don't have to go deep into it at all, but I'm just curious, how far do you think you're into Horizon?
I'm at the end.
You're right there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss more.
I have ventured through the entire open world from literally like end to end. I've been.
That's cool.
I haven't done everything, but I've been to end to end.
And look out for that review coming soon.
Yeah. New games I've been playing that we didn't talk about last time on the podcast. Well, you weren't on the last.
Yeah,
podcast.
that's true. What was the last one?
Well, the 20th anniversary for Kingdom Hearts, which is out now.
Yes,
listen to that.
Check it out.
YouTube, podcast services,
everywhere you love. Yeah.
Tunic, interesting game.
I've heard. It sounds familiar.
It's a Zelda and a Souls-like kind of mix.
Oh, I think it's on Game Pass too.
It is on
I was
Game
thinking
Pass.
about. Oh, interesting.
I wouldn't play it right now. There's too much Souls games.
Yeah.
I give it. I think it'd be like a summer game.
Sure.
If you're bored. It's really mysterious. The whole game's in like another language that you can't understand.
Okay.
So like you don't.
So it's more like kind of
the story's being told environmentally and what's happening in the cutscenes, not verbally.
That makes sense.
So you play as this little fox. I guess his name's Tunic. Mm-hmm. One can assume so.
You would guess so.
And you kind of like it's cool. Like you pick up pages to an instruction manual.
Yeah, and
the instruction manual tells you like how to play, and like sometimes words are like normal,
sure,
but mostly they're not. So you're like looking at
you're
pictures,
kind of trying to get
figuring it
taking
out,
context clues,
and they tell you about different mechanics in the game. It's really interesting.
That's awesome.
But sometimes I get like I'm playing the game and I get not bored, but like I go on my phone for like 10 minutes.
You get a little lost.
I pick it up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm having fun again. The game it's got a strange loop to it. I don't really know like how far along I am.
Yeah.
It's not like Dark Souls hard. It's like kind of easy.
Sure.
But it's like if you die, you go back to the thing.
All right.
Oh, if you die, you lose 20 coins. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like it's like baby's first Souls game.
All right.
It's nothing
interesting.
like,
That's cool though. No,
you
that's still
die
fun.
and you lose 10k souls
and you're done. Yeah.
and then you died again and everything is
and
gone.
it's just the worst, and you want to throw your controller into the wall.
Yeah, and the other thing was Stranger in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which I'll be reviewing tomorrow, Monday. That'll be out next Monday, Easter Monday, coming with Andre, who's going to be guest appearing on that.
Love it.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
All right. Yeah,
It's
Final Fantasy.
not the best.
I feel like we've had the conversation before. I have no baseline for
not
Final
the
Fantasy.
worst.
Yeah.
Cool for Final Fantasy like one. Well, not Final Fantasy 1 fans. Final Fantasy fans. It kind of loops into Final Fantasy 1 a little bit. I'm gonna talk about it more tomorrow.
Love it.
But yeah, it's been a mixed bag. It's really memey. It really double downs on that chaos meme.
Okay.
That's been going around.
Okay. I think I know exactly what you
like,
mean.
like some of the lines, like I'm sure you saw the clip, but like you go fight a boss and he's like saying who he is, and then. And Jack's like, I don't give a fuck who you are.
like this, just going hard.
Like
I love
they
it.
Don't like, yeah, they're
That's
really
cool.
like double down.
I love
it. The game gets kind of very interesting in the last like hour and a half, where it's like, oh, this
is an
cool.
add-on, or it's like a fully new game.
They're like
it's. Or is it like Kingdom or
No,
Kingdom
no.
Hearts 8.75?
It's a Final Fantasy spin-off.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it recontextualized Final Fantasy 1. You play, this really is not a spoiler. Jack is the villain of Final Fantasy 1, whose name is Garland. His last name is Garland, Jack Garland.
Mm-hmm.
So like from the beginning, you're like, okay, like how does this character get to become the Garland from Final Fantasy 1? And it shows that progression.
Sure.
And by the end, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Okay,
And then
you're
we get-
a little bit of a mixed bag. It seems
The
to be what you're
gameplay
saying.
is incredible.
All right.
The gameplay is really good.
right.
But like, there's not a lot of monster variety. The
Sure.
worlds are kind of boring.
Fair
But
enough.
the gameplay is really fun.
That's
It's
always an
really
interesting
visceral action
dynamic
game.
when you
Yeah,
get
it
like,
is.
and that, I feel like that does show you how games. Gameplay is king, man. If the gameplay of a game is really good, the story can be very meh, and people will play the fuck out of it. But that's cool. I love to hear it.
And then I've just been watching, sort of in my Resident Evil series playthrough. There's some movies and some series kind of mixed in the timeline.
Yeah, so sprinkled about.
I watched the Resident Evil Degeneration from like 2006, which was interesting. It's interesting to see like a fully CGI movie from then. And then the new Netflix series, Infinite Darkness. So now I'm rolling into 5,
Okay.
essentially. And
Resident
Infinite
Evil
Darkness is 4 episodes. It's interesting. It's not really good. It's not really bad.
Is Resident Evil 5 the one where they're in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
You're
I think
playing
I
as
played-
Chris and Sheva.
I think I played the beginning of that when I was really young and kept dying and just couldn't beat it, and I just gave up. So I'm curious to see what you think about that.
Yeah,
that's
I am
awesome.
too. I played the demo of 5. I've never really
You know
played
what?
5.
That's probably what I played.
That demo was pretty famous. I feel
I
like, a
feel
lot
like
of
I
people
definitely
played
gave
that.
it a shot. Yeah, that's what I might be having my memories of.
So what have you been what's new in the playing sphere and the watching
There's a
sphere?
lot going on actually right now. I guess Elden Ring. I don't want to repeat myself for you, but we'll talk about
Elden
that
Ring.
at some
That's
point.
it.
I've actually been hopping back onto my Oculus a lot more because I feel like I haven't been playing as much. I haven't really been looking around the store, and I just picked up Pistol Whip, which is, man, it's so much fun.
You said your legs were hurting.
My legs are a little sore this morning. Had to do a lot of squatting. No, but it's kind of like a rhythm game, but you have guns and it's pushing you down this track and you can dodge bullets and you are basically like, it's so much fun. I can't just look it up. It's very dynamic and you're going to be moving a lot, which I actually like, but you feel it's kind of that feeling like with Super Hot. You feel like John Wick by the end a little bit. And
You're diving
think it's a
across
lot
the
of fun.
basement. You've broken a window or two. The TV, maybe a casualty.
Absolutely. And, the music in it is really good, too, surprisingly. It seems third-party and made specifically for the game. But I thoroughly enjoy it. And I've also been playing Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
Oh, okay.
So I bought that a while ago, actually.
I think I remember you telling me that.
And I started playing it, and I don't know why I just didn't get back into it. But I jumped back in. It's a very interesting kind of survival game set within the Walking Dead universe. A lot of
The movie
scavenging
universe?
going on. No, I think it's the game. I think it's the comics.
It's probably better.
To be honest, they don't really. Yeah, it's set in New
Probably
Orleans.
better that it's
No, I think so too. And it's really cool. I mean, it's very visceral, especially when all the zombies are going at you. And I mean, when you grab the fucking zombie's head and you just stick your fucking knife through it, and then you got to.
so it's mostly melee.
Yeah. You have guns though too and stuff that you buy, but those do wear down. You got to keep. I don't think you can repair them, but you get new ones and stuff like that. You have your backpack, a lot of inventory management and things.
So you're doing this kind of thing.
Pulling that over, you got your gun, you got your 2 hip things. You can put something on this hip.
holsters.
Holster. Well, yeah, I guess is it a holster for a screwdriver? I guess it would be.
You would sheath it.
Yeah, you'd sheath the exactly.
Maybe you
So
put
you
it
have a
on a
sheath
belt
and a
loop,
holster.
you know?
And then you can store a bunch of stuff in your backpack. You can store you have your axe or your big weapon on your back, and then you can store another big weapon on your backpack. It's cool. It's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it if you do have an Oculus. Story-wise, I don't really know much about what's going on right now so far. I haven't been paying a ton of attention. But gameplay is king, as I just said. Other than that, I have been playing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga as well. We'll definitely do a review on that. I think at some point I would like to.
Are you committed to doing that?
I think I would like to, for sure.
It'll be interesting.
I think it would be a lot of fun. We have a few people we could definitely talk to about that. They write those games so well in the comedic moments, and they really do kind of flush out certain moments in ways that are just like, I was laughing out loud.
I really wish I just didn't have a lot of games. Like I just finished Strangers in Paradise.
I understand. No, I do.
And I'm gonna platinum it. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but then that'll be like a game that's been on my shelf off of it.
For sure. No,
But I'm really like I don't want to start anything until like my Horizon's done.
I
and
totally
Elden Ring's
understand.
Done. I'm just like, that happened with Wonderlands too, and I'm just like, I'm playing too much.
No, it's true.
Like I don't.
It's
wanna
funny.
play
I haven't
this.
even gotten back to like Dying Light or anything like that since I put it down, and it's just because there's so much, and I
But
totally forgot.
we're now in a fucking. I don't think.
Now we got a bit of a dry
Penn's,
spell.
Matt Penn's a friend of the show last night, and I was like, "What's the next game coming out?" I don't think
Not till November.
anything.
Dude,
Like what's coming out in the summer? Like I don't.
nothing.
I
think
couldn't even
genuinely
tell
the
you.
next thing that's coming out that I care about that I can think of. There's probably something else in between, but is Starfield. I can't.
No, there's got to be something. In between.
That's what I'm thinking. There has to
There
be, but I'm
has to
trying
be like
to think
one
like,
game, you know.
It has to be, but I don't know. Like we don't have any PlayStation games coming out this holiday or anything like that.
Yeah, God of War isn't a shoe-in yet.
Well, that's true. I forgot about God of War.
Yeah,
That
but
could
that's holiday.
No,
it's
that's
not gonna
holiday.
come out in the
Exactly.
summer.
Yeah, we are in a bit of a dry
It
spell.
could, but I don't think it will.
But yeah, to finish it off, I started the 4th season of Better Call Saul. So
My friend.
I need to get back into it.
That is where the show. Not that it was bad before.
Yeah.
but
It kicks into a different direction.
Chuck's dead, right?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, fuck you.
I mean, come on.
Fuck you.
I don't know.
You haven't seen that show.
I don't know though. I think that's something you want to know.
That season was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, that's funny because that's only 2 years. That's only 2 seasons behind this one, right?
They really took a lot of time before, and then the final season 5.
So
did you see the image of Jesse? And,
yeah, I did. Well, it's funny. I think even Bob Odenkirk was saying how this one's definitely the most parallel running with that.
You know,
so,
it's the last season.
Yeah, so that's the 6th season, right? Is the last season? This one coming out now? Or
I think.
I
Or is it
can't
5?
remember.
It might be 5
because
I
think it is 6.
It's 6.
Yeah,
it is 6. It is 6.
Bob Odenkirk, one of the best actors.
That is where that show really starts getting good.
Yeah.
Like I think it's such a
I know what you mean.
Stereotypical thing. Stick with it. 3 seasons
but
in, it gets good.
I think watching those week to week were a little boring. Better Call Saul. I remember I tried to watch the first season when it was like airing, and I did find it a bit slow. But when I watched the first season as I wanted to, I thoroughly enjoyed those first 3 seasons. I don't know why, but Bob Odenkirk definitely is a big part of that. And I really like the woman who plays Kim as well.
Yeah.
I forget her name. And even the
I
guy
know
who
her
plays
name. I know her name.
Chuck is great also.
Andrea? No. Is it Andrea? I'm gonna look it up.
Anywho, she's amazing. That whole cast in general, I really think is awesome. And Mike Ehrmanchuk, come on, he's too good. Commissioner Gordon himself, we should say.
Rhea Seehorn.
Interesting. I don't see her in really anything else.
She is incredible.
She's awesome.
I think
she's so good.
Like, Kim Wexler, I think, is like one of my favorite characters. Like
I
in
agree.
TV.
I agree. She's
like,
really awesome.
I don't know what it is. She's got spunk, man.
She's got spunk, and
her relationship
it's an
with
earnest character.
with her and Jimmy
I think she's great.
is interesting.
Can't recommend Better Call Saul enough. I mean, especially if you liked Breaking Bad. But I think Gooch, that's really been it. I will say again, though, if you have an Oculus, pick up Pistol Whip. That's the most fun I've had in the past week playing a game. I really have to stress that. But Gooch, are you ready to get down to business?
Trio is obviously taking the wheel with this podcast. It was, occasionally we jump back and forth between kind of who plans the monthly podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's sort of
it's a bit more by the
mutual or like a news-related thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's my idea.
Something that doesn't
Sometimes
take a lot of preparation. It's more of just like, we're talking this topic.
Right. Sometimes it's Trio's thing. This one is Trio's thing. And at first, I got to admit, when Trio pitched it to me, I was like, not that I'll do it, but I wasn't like jiving with it.
Yeah.
But like after he kind of like pitched it to me, and then we got the GTA Plus premium.
Oh, I forgot to add that. Thank you for saying that.
Whatever the fuck that is came out, and with the recent GTA San Andreas 3 and Vice City remastered,
Max Payne just being announced.
Max Payne just got announced.
Literally a couple days
and
ago.
I'm just like, maybe it is time to talk about Rockstar in a way that we haven't before. I mean, we've talked about Red Dead
of course.
A lot, and we've both kind of critiqued that, and you have as well.
Of course.
And it is we are in this weird state with Rockstar where we're in between Red Dead 2 and GTA 6, but GTA 6 just doesn't really seem to be in grasp yet. And their decisions that they're making make that even more so. Why are we still supporting GTA 5? We're getting the next gen update. They're reselling the game to us. They're double downing on GTA 5 online content with this, not only with the content, but with this pass thing.
Yeah.
This game came out in 2013. What? Like, when are we going to move on? Why isn't Red Dead 2 being committed to? Why aren't they supporting that? Why?
Well, but again,
I think there's so many questions about like their decisions.
I agree. I do. The way they always work with announcing games, they never announce them till they're ready. I mean, like GTA 6 is committed to in the way of we know that's happening. Red Dead 2. They never really committed to until it was like announced. You know what I mean? I was like, I never necessarily was like, for sure, like, oh, we're gonna get a Red Dead 2 before we got it. But when they, of course, you thought, why not? Why wouldn't they? I mean, it's an amazing franchise. That first game is a true masterpiece in its own right. But they really are one of the worst communicating companies out there, and it's unfortunate because they can do that. They make the answer to your question, Gooch. It's money.
Yeah, no, I knew.
Yeah,
the
you know
answer
what
to
I
my
know,
question.
I know, and I guess I guess I'm going that for
it,
more of the
The answer is extremely obvious. It's
that
revenue.
game
It's
makes
capital.
a boatload of money.
It's money.
It makes so much money, and I think if GTA Online didn't make as much money as it has by now, we would have gotten GTA 6 already. We would have probably gotten it in 2019, in my opinion,
and maybe Rockstar
even a little bit later
would have invested in RDO, Red Dead Online.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but
yeah.
Even I don't. If
longer,
GTA Online didn't take off, I don't think we would have gotten even an attempt at Red Dead Online. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. But Gooch, let's just start with the basics here.
Sure.
What is your touchstones with Rockstar, if at all? What have you played anything that Rockstar has done before Red Dead 2? I don't think so.
That's
right?
a good question. I don't think so.
That's what I was.
But obviously I know.
Obviously,
them.
yeah.
How do I know? Obviously I know them.
Yeah, of course.
GTA. It's Bully.
Yeah.
It's Red Dead 1. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
would
the
you
big
say
ones.
that they are... I think I would definitely say this, but would you say that if there was a quadruple A status that Rockstar would be up there as one of them?
Yeah.
As like an even higher tier than AAA. And I think maybe Bethesda might be up there. I'm trying to think of other... Blizzard. I think...
Apparently 343 was claimed that. I don't know if you remember
I
that.
remember that in their thing. Yeah.
I don't know if
I would agree, but that's fine.
point.
It's just very interesting to see where this company's come from and how it's really led the charge in a lot of ways. I just replayed San Andreas finally after it's been patched pretty well and it runs pretty smoothly. I gotta say, it looks pretty good now. And I finished that up and I'm like, this game was so ahead of its time, just in the way of like how big the map is, how many things you can do on this map, how many ways you can mess with the world and interact. It's truly a company that's ahead of its time, and it's kind of sad to see where it's at. I'm not going to be completely negative through all this. There are some interesting decisions, even with the Max Payne reboot, which we'll talk about. Not reboot, remake, that's very cool to see. And they seem to have learned from their issues with the GTA trilogy and just how terribly that turned out at the beginning. But we'll start at the beginning here, Gooch. Just a little brief first paragraph on their wiki, I guess, for the Rockstar. So the company was established in 1998 as a subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive using the assets Take-Two had previously acquired from BMG Interactive. Founding members of the company were Sam and Dan Houser, Terry Donovan, Jamie King, who worked for Take-Two at the time, and of which the Houser brothers were previously executives at BMG Entertainment. Sam Houser heads the studio as president right now. Dan Houser is no longer with the company, which we'll talk about.
No longer with us.
No longer with the company.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
No,
Like,
he's not no longer
sure
with
he's
us.
alive.
But so he is now out. So yeah, that's how the company started, and here we are today. But we could talk about all the other GTAs, everything that led up to GTA 5, but we'll just start at GTA 5. So GTA 5 was developed around the time GTA 4 released in 2004. The game obviously centers around the three lead protagonists. Much of the development work constituted was the open world's creation.
Wait, back up. GTA 4 came out in 2004?
Yeah. Yeah, Gooch.
Really? You're high.
Maybe it's 2007. No, that's what I copy and pasted that. So
That can't be true.
4. No, I think that's actually San Andreas. That's where I got that confused. It's 2008.
That's what I thought. I was
It's 2008. I'm sorry.
No way.
It started around that development in 2008.
There we go.
My
Catching
apologies.
the act.
Thank you, Gooch.
Sorry.
Yeah, the game centers around the protagonist. Much of the development work was put into the game's open world. Several team members conducted field research around California to capture footage for the design team. During this time, they were also thinking about doing one in Japan, actually, but they found that the city.
Well, then we got Chinatown Wars on DS.
Yeah. But they found that the city just isn't conducive for that type of game, the way the streets are set up, and it just wouldn't work for their type of game design, apparently. But yeah, it was released in September 2013 on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Did you remember that? Because I completely forgot that it released 2 generations ago. I feel like a fucking idiot. I forgot that was truly like...
It was an early gen title.
I know, it's insane, but like, this game still ran. I remember it running pretty well on my 360 even back then. Like, it is kind of mind-blowing to think about that game was put to that hardware. But it's still really cool. The development and marketing cost more than $265 million, which would make it the most expensive game ever made at the time. So yeah, they put a lot of fucking money into this game. As of November 2018, I couldn't find any more recent figures. GTA 5 had sold over 90 million copies and generated... How much revenue do you think, Gooch? I know it's a tough one. I'm just curious.
450 billion.
That's a little high. 6 billion in revenue. So a little. No, I did. I feel like I did kind of say you just wanted to be astronomical.
Over.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah, you're fine. It is the most profitable piece of entertainment ever created. Period.
So I remember when that headline kind of came out a few years ago. Do you know what was before it?
I don't actually. That's a good.
I don't
See,
because it beat something out. Maybe it was like couldn't have been Avatar.
It might have been.
Maybe it was like Star Wars.
It could have been, because it's weird. You got to think about. You would have to, I guess, compare it just to another single movie. So like, yeah,
is it just? Oh yeah, it is.
Because it's just the game. Movie. It's just the game.
Yeah, I'm curious what that thing would be. But anyway.
Also, I'm curious how much of that is generated from those copies being sold or from GTA Online. I'm assuming part of that is that, which, I mean, a lot of people spend a lot of money on GTA Online. I think at this point,
we're talking post 2 years after launch. So, GTA came out in 2013.
Yeah.
2015, I think, is where those figures really start to turn into... But then again, the NPD numbers are always GTA.
It's always on the 10. It's always on the top 10.
I know.
It is truly
maybe
insane.
I'm wrong, but like now when you're buying GTA 5, you're guaranteed you're buying it on sale.
True.
You know, so you're not making that full $60 or soon to be.
No, absolutely.
Is the PS5 Xbox Series X version is 70, right?
I think so. No, I think it's actually only 40 if you buy it separate. But it's only. It's 20 on Xbox right now if you buy it right now and you get the full game. But it's 10 on PlayStation, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Interesting.
Yeah, they seem to have a big kind of connection with PlayStation. I don't think they'd ever go exclusive.
Well, that's better than what I just obviously
Yeah.
off the draw assumed it would be. But yeah, it is hard to tell where exactly that revenue is coming from. I mean, because obviously it's clearly both.
Yeah, it has to
So
be.
like maybe it's an even split, maybe it's a 60-40. Like it's really hard to say. Like,
Well, it's funny. I don't even know anyone personally who spends money on on GTA Online.
clearly people do.
And no, I know. That's the funny thing though. Like it has to be the more younger generation.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, I did spend $5 on Red Dead Online at the beginning.
He's part of that number.
So I am. I'm
not.
$5 part.
Well,
It was
Red Dead.
because I remember it was like a deal when they first started. It was like get 25 gold for $5 instead of $10. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll start it off. Now I have, I think, 970 gold. Now.
I've spent a lot of money in Red Dead.
Like to buy. Yeah. See, I will say
always
once I
bought gold.
invested that. Oh, and then I think I bought the first pass. But then after that, I never bought anything. No, actually, I might not have even bought that because back when Red Dead Online first started, the streak.
Okay.
Yeah, for a quick second. I'm sorry, but the streak. After so long, you'd earn 1 gold bar per daily challenge.
Yeah.
So I was making like 10 gold bars a day.
Hand over foot.
Hand over foot. Isn't it hand over fist?
Whatever.
Anyway, hand over foot, hand over fist. I made so much, but then they nerfed it, and now it's a lot harder.
I remember you like periodically after you'd be like, dude, they fucked up my streak.
Fucked up my so fucked up.
I remember Trio like text you. I think you went away with your ex, and you were like, "Can you log into my account?"
I did. No, I think we were in Philly, and I was driving back, and I'm like, Gooch, can you log into my Red Dead and just do it? Right? Yeah, you did. You took it because I was like, I'm on a 3-month streak. I do not want to lose it. Dude, I would get on Red Dead literally just to do a single challenge every day.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did too.
No, it was. Oh man, great times. But I don't know how we got on that tangent.
You're talking about buying
sales
Red Dead
and
Gold.
yeah. So yeah, I'm curious as to how much. Like who is spending this money and what demographic is spending that much money in that online?
Like our peers in GTA, which is a huge
That
thing.
is a big thing, yeah.
I know like the PC, like there are like, remember that documentary that White Light did on YouTube that with that Red Dead clan?
Yeah.
Like there, and like same with like GTA, like there are those types of groups and clans that are like really serious,
really into it, and like they've created mods and stuff that like are insane.
Yeah,
I've watched one of the police ones, which is so hilarious. They have a full police scanner set up. There's guys talking.
Yeah.
It's insane. And the guy shows up at a like a store or something and is, so what happened here? Did you see the guy? What did he look like? He's asking him all the questions and all this stuff. I'm like, shit.
So he's
people are
RPing
really
with
into
like a person who's
an actual person that's playing a store owner or something like that. It is pretty nuts what that spawned. But all of this was developed on the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, which is their proprietary Rage engine, as they call it, which they seem to have a pretty good grasp on at this point. But yeah, so after this, of course, GTA Online was released. Now we got GTA Plus, which is this subscription thing where you pay $5 a month and you get like 500 grand GTA money, which is nothing.
So it's kind of just a service to get you assets in game.
Exactly. And I think you get free clothes and free cars here and there, but it's not really new content.
So it's kind of, I'm trying to find something to compare it to. It's kind of like, I don't know how any rewards program works at fast food, but it's like, oh, I'm part of the McDonald's reward program.
That classic rewards program.
And every month I get, well, actually, no, scratch that. T-Mobile Tuesdays. As a part of a T-Mobile customer, I get something free every Tuesday. It could be a Popeyes coupon. It could be $4 off going to see Morbius, which you shouldn't do, from Adam Tickets. It could be like anything like that. So like it's essentially like that. Like you're a customer, well, you're a premium customer, and they're just giving you incentives to kind of keep you in the game.
Interesting.
And stuff like that.
I hate T-Mobile so much.
They always get better.
Quick tangent. I was forcefully moved over to T-Mobile because they got bought, or Sprint got bought.
You shouldn't have been on Sprint to begin with.
No, Sprint was awesome.
No.
I had so
Sprint
much better service than as soon as I switched to T-Mobile, it went all down the tubes, and now I'm on Xfinity. But what's your favorite mobile carrier? Mention in the comments. Anyways, Yeah. So what? I don't know how he just got up on the tangent again. So yeah, that's subscription program.
Yeah, what's it called?
GTA Plus.
Plus. Yeah, it is Plus.
Can we kill it with this pluses and maxes and to the moons? I don't know. I mean, people are still playing it all the time. I will say, GTA Online, they have created some of the most interesting content you can create within that world. Like, you can play Tron. There's light bikes. There's fucking a flying DeLorean. You can do a lot of cool things, and that's awesome. But it just sucks that they really just, once GTA Online came out, they saw those cha-chings, and then we never got a story DLC of any kind.
Right, which we did get with GTA 4, which we did get with Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, why do you think after almost 10 years of GTA being out, why do this Plus service now? On the cusp of possibly the next GTA game. Why do this?
Just to scrape some cash. I genuinely think so.
But don't you think they could have done it years earlier and it would have made more sense?
I agree. Gooch, I don't know. It seems very weirdly timed. I don't think it's so egregious to where it's making a big split. Like, it's $5 for 500 grand, I guess.
The only thing it's really timed with is the next gen release.
That's true.
When's that coming out?
It's already out.
Oh, it is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Duh.
I did buy it like a fucking piece of shit. I just
part of the problem.
I want to play Grand Theft Auto at 60 frames per second. Can't you just let me do that? No, I gotta buy a fucking update. Anywho, so yeah, I don't know. I really can't tell you. They must be making enough money off people just buying shark cards and shit already, anyways. So I don't know. It does feel a bit like, hey, we can get some cash maybe by doing
for
it.
sure. Especially at this
I don't
point
see
in the game.
any other real reasons.
It's like, how isn't GTA 5 content not on its way out? You know? How is it still going?
Well, but again, it's not technically, that's the thing, Gooch.
It's not on its way out.
It's not GTA 5 content. It's GTA Online, which is an ever-growing live service.
Do you think GTA 6 is just campaign?
See, that's the interesting thing to me.
And obviously,
it depends on how much of a difference.
But it is its own thing.
That's my assumption. I couldn't imagine I'd be happy playing all of GTA Online and then you release GTA 6 Online or whatever.
Yeah, now we have to move all my user base and all that stuff.
I guess if I can transfer my stuff, okay, that's fine. But if all that shit's stuck in old GTA Online, I couldn't imagine being someone who put as much hours as I have into Red Dead Online and then having you tell me, no, you can't bring it over.
Maybe we just answered the question to my question to you. Maybe that is the plan. They're going to make your carryover stuff, so that's why they're doing this pass now, so that you can accrue assets in game to have for the new game or the new content that will be in GTA Online from GTA 6.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm curious to see what they do, and I don't know if we'll ever even see another story DLC for a GTA Online, which makes me sad, and which makes me
GTA Online. Well, you
for
got
GTA story. No, wait, just a GTA story.
No, I don't.
DLC, and it really seems like GTA Online was the unfortunate culprit, and all you fucks who played it. No, I'm kidding, but
yeah, like of course, I think we knew since Red Dead 2 came out. Excuse me, since Red Dead 2 came out, that we weren't getting an Undead Nightmare,
which sucks, or just even a story DLC of some kind. If you look back at the Ballad of Gay Tony, Lost in the Damned, some of the most top tier GTA content that were DLCs.
When those came out, they were like the talk of the town.
Amazing.
They were like very well renowned.
Absolutely, and it's what inspired them to do the multiple protagonist thing, because in those campaigns you played as different people who actually showed up in Nico's campaigns at different parts. Like, you interact with Johnny in one mission.
You weren't playing as Nico, right?
Yeah, but you see Nico in their campaigns, which is funny. So you see that kind of opposite side.
Right.
Very cool stuff. And they were planning a story DLC for GTA 5, actually. And I found out more about it while doing this research. And it kind of sucks. So back in 2017, Rockstar had put to bed the idea of a story DLC. Though the DLC rumors still swirled for both the story and online mode. They just, there's a lot of rumors floating around for a long time. People were talking about how Franklin, the guy who played Franklin, was brought in for pretty early on, after, like, close to after the release, to start doing story DLC, but that seem to have gotten folded into this online thing.
Yeah, because I know he's in the Doctor.
Yeah,
Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
is it Jay-Z and Dr. Dre?
I think so.
Dr. Dre?
I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, we knew that they had plans for it, but there wasn't any real concrete proof until 2019, which this I felt like flew very under the radar. These rumors came via data mines of the single-player campaign, and they suggested that GTA 5 story DLC may have included a zombie apocalypse, a Trevor's-focused story campaign, as well as an Ocean's 11-style heist of a casino. What the fuck, guys? Like, I'm just saying, like, oh, I love capitalism, but I hate it sometimes too, because it's what, like, the money that this made us not get this stuff. And it sucks. It really does. And according to Tez and Jan2295, who are apparently two very influential figures within the GTA community, most of that data mined story DLC was repurposed for Grand Theft Auto Online, which we see. I think that Diamond Casino heist, that was supposed to be part of the campaign.
You know what's funny? To kind of interrupt you really quick. Yeah. All those DLCs or all those content updates for GTA Online, I always saw trailers in movie theaters for.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing that up because that's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely.
Movie trailer previews, preview video game trailers for games, I think are pretty rare. I saw one for Horizon recently.
I was going to say, it's usually like AAA first party
Guild
stuff.
Wars 2 did one at some point or another. Like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
But obviously Rockstar can afford it.
For sure.
There's no question.
And they're going to make that back,
and they're
too.
doing it for the online component of their game.
Well, dude, remember the marketing for GTA 5? Like, there were banners and shit everywhere.
When I would drive to college, drive to LaSalle, I would always see a bus with the Lindsay Lohan lookalike.
Yeah. It's fun. I never really felt like she looked like Lindsay Lohan. I thought she looked more like Kate Upton to me.
I mean, that was the,
No, well, she lost that suit, though.
I know,
right?
but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. The girl,
Yeah, the girl
classic.
with the bikini and the gum, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, it makes me so disappointed as someone who, like, Rockstar's story and narrative, I mean, you know this from GTA or Red Dead 2. They can give you some of the best stories out there, just on top of having, I think, fun gameplay. Some people say that the Rockstar gameplay is dated, which, I can give you to a degree, absolutely. But it just sucks that we have to have these silent protagonists with these story things happening that we just kind of participate in, but we're not really affecting in the online. You never speak in the online as your character.
Is the GTA Online story stuff actually like good narrative?
They seem to be I haven't played a lot of it, to be quite honest. I really haven't.
I was never a fan of GTA Online's narrative. It wasn't that good to me.
Again, it's a lot of you're just being told to do
and
things.
You're just like,
and you're like, and then you look like a fucking idiot with your pink hair and your big blue sunglasses or something. It's not what I want out of it. I love that GTA Online exists, and I love that I can play light bikes on GTA Online and do racing with my friends, but I want more of that narrative stuff to come back in these single story, like the single player story DLCs, and I don't know if we'll ever get them again, and it doesn't seem likely. But after GTA, of course, we got to Red Dead 2, which, we don't have a ton to talk about. The development for that began in 2010, or I think maybe 2011, whenever Red Dead 1 came out. It had a budget in the range of $370 million to $450 million, which would make it one of the most expensive games, once again, ever created at the time. And it made $725 million in the first 3 days. I was having trouble finding other exact sales figures.
Yeah, it hasn't been
out
out long enough for those figures to be.
So GTA 6 has obviously been in development this whole time. At this point, we had not gotten confirmation, but everyone in the industry, they're obviously working on it.
Yeah. What else are they doing?
There was a
bully?
bit,
Ha!
Yeah,
what a joke.
I know. Or even there was rumors of a medieval Rockstar game for a while. We haven't heard much about it ever in a while, but I would love to see them actually step into something like that. But that's a whole nother podcast. So after this, with this came the launch of Red Dead 2. There was a big talk about crunch in video games, of course, again,
For sure.
and all that
Jason
stuff.
Schreier to the scene.
Yeah, of course. And then we got Red Dead Online, which they seem to start wanting to really commit to, and then now they've just let be what it is. They don't seem to really want to add anything new to it. they keep gaining new players, but they're losing them at such a quick rate that it doesn't matter.
If you're interested in seeing us talk about Red Dead Online, we do have a podcast about it.
Yeah.
If probably just search like
Delco Network, Red Dead Online. Yeah,
or-
something like that.
yes,
It should come up.
I forget the title of it.
I can't remember either.
But we did talk about it, and I'm done with Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
I got all my achievements recently.
Yep.
I went back to the story, did all that, but RDO, I think that's it. It is sunset for me. But the times we did have together, I fucking really
There's so much
enjoyed.
fun. Like,
I
and that's what
really
makes me so
enjoyed
sad with that
game.
online. They had something that could have been just as influential as GTA, in my opinion, but in such a different way, in more of a narrative-focused way, and more of a role-playing way. And they just completely shit the bed on it and just completely left it out to dry.
I guess, like, the sales figures between online and the game sales maybe were like 80-20.
Yeah, maybe.
75-25. And they're just like, yeah, RDO isn't... It has a fan base, clearly, because they go around in clown outfits and protest.
Well, and that's the thing. Those were really good. And I think there's a ceiling of absurdity you can hit in a Western setting. But that's why
I wasn't talking about that. I was essentially just talking about the fan base.
No.
Back.
No, I'm sorry. I was making a separate point. Like, whereas GTA Online, you can have a flying DeLorean car. You can do some pretty outside the box things. In a Western setting, sure, you can't do that as much, but that's why you need to make what you're doing in the game more interesting. Allow me to have a homestead. Allow me to get a farm going. Allow me to start a business on it. Like, but they just completely fucking threw it out, and it makes me sad. But I still absolutely adore that game, and I still pop into Red Dead Online here and there just for some comfort food, just to run around, maybe hunt a few animals and check out the sights. But that's probably unfortunately all it will be there for. After Red Dead came some shakeups. As far as management wise, this was when Dan Houser left, which is one of the co-creators of the company and basically the head writer for most things. So the co-founder and head writer had left the company, Dan Houser, in 2020. I guess I'll read their statement. So this was from the Rockstar SEC filing. What is the SEC? I feel like I've heard that before. Isn't it like, yeah.
Start reading.
Yeah. And I quote, after an extended break beginning in the spring of 2019, Dan Houser, Vice President Creative at Rockstar Games, will be leaving the company. Dan Houser's last day will be on March 11th, 2020. We are extremely grateful for his contributions. Rockstar Games has built some of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful game worlds, a global community of passionate fans, and an incredibly talented team, which remains focused on current and future products. So, an interesting kind of thing. I don't really know why he was ousted. So there was kind of a big thing. How he drew some flack by somewhat boasting in an interview about pulling, quote, 100-hour work weeks at Rockstar in the lead up to Red Dead Redemption 2's launch. He later clarified that those 100-hour work weeks were in reference to, quote, the senior writing team, which included Laszlo Jones, who we'll talk about in a moment. So yeah, that I don't know. That seems to be maybe what was going on.
There's a lot of acronyms for SEC.
Yeah. Maybe it's probably like a business filing thing or something.
Supply Chain Council?
No, it's SEC, as in...
yeah. SEC.
Yeah, my apologies.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
That was me.
So yeah,
U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
Gotcha, okay.
It came right up.
Of course. So Houser had written or co-written every Grand Theft Auto title since the London... in 1989 mission packs, which is like way back, like almost at the beginning. So he is definitely a major creative driving force there in how those games sound and narratively work. So I don't know why he left. It might have been to something to do with this crunch thing.
I was going to say,
but I also think
burnout.
But I also think the company might be going in a way that he doesn't like with GTA Online and with this more online focused thing. And I mean, how long GTA 6 has been in development. I'm sure that's been written, and I'm sure that like that story won't necessarily be affected. But I don't know. I think he seems to be a major creative force there.
Let me speak to some of my own personal experiences with company change.
Yeah.
My company has the company I work for essentially has made a switch from a small 40 to 50 man team to a corporation that is 100 plus.
Yeah.
And when you move from a company of a smaller size to a bigger size, it is always a shakeup.
Sure.
everything starts changing, you kind of watch your world crumble, and what rises from those ruins is never something you like.
For sure.
And a lot of the people that I started with at my company are gone.
Sure.
A lot of them.
No, that makes sense.
And that is specifically because of all the changes.
Oh,
and
sure.
people not liking them and people voicing their opinions, and nothing ultimately ended up happening. And not shit got worse, but like the stuff that people liked are still there. So that's probably why Dan Houser left. I think you're onto something.
It seems like the company's it's not like it's obviously gotten bigger, but I mean it's been on that track since almost the company
right.
began.
But it takes a number of years for those changes.
Well,
to,
but now,
when they first
think,
start happening and you're first seeing them, blood's in the water, and then you.
But I do think those changes are just what they're focusing on, and unfortunately, that does seem to be this online focused thing. And I'm curious as to how it might affect GTA 6, and if there is going to be an always online component to that story. And I don't want that. I hope that that's not the way they're going. And I hope that at least Dan Houser's fingerprints are still all over that GTA 6 script. And I'm hoping that it's the Rockstar game that we're expecting. But after that, I don't know. I think that is going to affect it. And
I'd be curious to hear somebody argue the other side of it.
What, like that this is for the better, like that, like
yeah, or it'd be like, hey, like they're not that you're discrediting GTA Online. I don't think you are at all. But like to see somebody, hey, I think this is a better move, and I think it'd be a hard argument to make.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
GTA games are loved because of their story, not just because of GTA Online.
No, I mean GTA Online just made them a ton of money, like we said, and but the story. No matter who you talk to about Red Dead, at least I feel like some people obviously don't like it for the gameplay and all that stuff. Usually they're like, well, the story's still fantastic, and it's. I think it might be my favorite video game script or just story ever, personally. But they do have that certain level of quality that you can only get when you have a controlled environment like a single player campaign. And I hope that is still the focus, and I hope that him leaving isn't the sign of that not being. But there was also another big name that left the studios, Mr. Laszlo Jones, who you guys might know as the crazy fucking weird radio host within GTA 5. You fuck with him a few times within the campaign. The one mission where Trevor and Michael go to Fame or Shame, which is like their American Idol in it, and they chase him down.
Use union voice actors, do they?
You know, I don't know.
They must not, because if they did, he wouldn't be in the game.
What? Because he's not union?
Right.
Well, can you not use union if you like you have to use one or the other?
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know because I know.
Mean, think about
the guys who played Frank or Franklin, Trevor, and Michael were pretty unknown. Like Stephen Ogg, I mean, he's a little bit more well known now since that for sure.
Yeah.
And then the guy who plays Michael, I feel like I don't see him really around at all.
I mean, same with the Rockstar people.
Yeah.
Roger Clark.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Arthur Morgan.
Yeah.
And you famously talked about John Marston's voice actor just being like, that was his first role.
Dude, he's a farmer.
Right.
Like he's actually, that was his first, and I think back in the day, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Back in the day, I think they had a really bad experience working with, what's his name in GT in Vice City, Burt Reynolds maybe. Or I can't remember. It was a big name actor they were working with, and they just said they had a terrible time. He was an asshole, and so they stopped using really well-known people. But they still use them in their radio stations and all that. Jason Sudeikis is on one of the radio stations in GTA 4.
Yeah,
Bill Hader is. What's his name? Highway to the Danger Zone. Who sings that? Kenny Loggins. He is the radio personality on in the game. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
And I'm trying to think who else. Oh, the guy from Spider-Man, the new ones, the teacher, the black teacher. What's his name? I can't remember that actor's name.
Oh yeah,
he's hilarious. He's great in it.
He's in all those online gambling commercials.
And Danny McBride is like the southern.
See,
one.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. They have to be SAG people.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would assume he is.
They definitely are.
Well, those ones are at least.
Yeah.
So again, GTA can get those people, and I'm curious to see what the radio stations in GTA 6 sound like, but. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So yeah, Laszlo Jones also left. He was a veteran writer, actor, and producer. He left Rockstar after nearly 20 years at the company. The news came via his LinkedIn profile, which noted that the writer and producer had left Rockstar back in April of 2020. So kind of around the time Houser left as well. So again, that kind of points to me and being like, they both maybe not loved what was going
100%,
on. Yeah,
100%.
And this came just 2 days after he was detailing his sister's battle with chemotherapy or with cancer, I should say. So I don't know, that maybe had something to do with it as well.
Is he currently employed?
Yeah. So I was about to say he now works in a consulting capacity for a video game company, unquote, and has in development projects with Disney and Netflix.
He's just working freelance.
Yeah, he's probably writing.
So, given that what you said about his sister,
yeah, that's what it seemed.
Maybe his family life.
It was too rough at the time.
Besides what's going on at Rockstar,
sure,
family life led him to seek a job that is more
was a little
freeing
more
of his
flexible
time.
For sure.
Right, to take
And like
care
we
of
were
his
saying,
family, take care of his sister.
Apparently,
and,
he was working 100-hour weeks leading up to Red Dead.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. So yeah, no, that would make sense.
So again, it could have been the same issue, but like now there's more compounding private personal issues
exactly,
coming
absolutely
into play as well.
So yeah, Gooch, I guess we kind of just talked about our thoughts, but yeah, your thoughts overall on that. You think like so? To me, that doesn't read amazing. But I don't know. I don't.
When you have a company and you have vets leaving, it's like when Kojima left Konami. That was a big fucking deal.
I mean, he's a major creative driving force.
Left,
yeah.
he got fired.
Yeah,
you know. I think obviously firing is worse than just leaving because clearly they're forcing. They've been forced out for a particular reason. Same on the other side of the fence, you have Blizzard and the firing of their people with a totally different issue, but a negative issue nonetheless.
I do know the benefits you get are different versus if you're fired or you choose to leave, right? Like your severance packages and stuff, or is that a thing?
Yes.
I thought like it
being
depends.
laid off
like,
and being fired
they might,
are two different
that's
things.
what because they might say like if you want to quit. Like what I know, I guess it's
being laid off means essentially they don't have a job for you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not that you did something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Being fired obviously is you did something wrong.
And like, you know, in Blizzard's case, it's obvious the sexual harassment allegations that are going on and kind of the getting rid of the corruption within the company. I know that's a little harsh for that, but that is pretty much what it is. But, you know, Kojima leaving Konami is kind of like, and him not taking his whole team, but taking a majority of his big people. Yoji Shinkawa being like his right hand man, leaves with him. Like he didn't get fired, but like he's like fuck
I'm
this.
out. Yeah,
I'm out. I'm not doing this. So
that's interesting.
Good has clearly come out of that. Death Stranding and Kojima Productions.
Absolutely.
They just got a new office. They're moving.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like they're talking about like we can't take the hallway of light into our office with us, so we're gonna put it in the metaverse.
Oh my god.
That was Kojima's tweet.
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, you know what?
I guess that's something.
That's so cool that's in their office to begin with, but like they're moving to a bigger office because they need successful,
they need a bigger
and they're going to
office.
make a bigger, better game.
I should say, Dan Houser, after he did leave, he founded Absurd Ventures in Games in 2020, which is another developer, it seems.
So and that's what I was just going to go. Like, are the people who leave the Rockstar vets, are they going to go make the games they want to make? And I think that's been kind of the trend of the last...
I mean, I think
like,
a guy like him...
say like 10 to 12 years where these industry vets are leaving their big AAA, quadruple A companies and founding their own smaller companies.
Absolutely.
They lost control.
Well, yeah, and it's going in a way that they don't want. Yeah,
they
exactly,
got too big and they lost control.
They don't have the type of control they had.
They're not
before.
making the games they want to make anymore. They want to make the games they want to make. I'm gonna go found a small.
I'm gonna go find a podcast.
I'm gonna go found a. Did I say it like that?
No, it's yes. I'm gonna go find. Like it.
I'm gonna go found a 20-person studio. You know, and that's what's happening. And the influx of indie games within the industry since like 2009, starting with like Braid and Fez, like those games, Super Meat Boy, they came onto the scene with Xbox Live Arcade, and since then, Supergiant Games. We have solo devs. Like there's tons of indie developers who are making like very successful games.
Absolutely. No, and I'm curious what a Dan Houser game looks like without Rockstar with that backing. Yeah. I'm sure he can get easy backing.
So much. Yeah. You know, Rockstar, that logo that's been on that GIF distracting me on my computer on our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, Delco Nerds.
Yeah, please. So yeah, just very interesting change ups in the management department. I'm sure we'll see some type of effect, if not in GTA 6, if with the games to come. But
I did have kind of a question. Where are you in your doc? I didn't want to like step over.
Oh no, I was just gonna go to talk that Max Payne stuff a little bit.
That's exactly where I was going to go. So I did want to talk about like also their other properties. We have Bully and I think we had a conversation on Discord, which you can join in the podcast descriptions.
Yeah.
On our social feeds and our flow page,
and in the description of this podcast, which should be.
Yeah. We were talking about like I don't remember what we were talking about, but I brought up like something about like you could never see a Bully game made in 2022. Like it almost couldn't happen. I think
if anyone could do it, Rockstar would. They'd be able to get away with it.
But our society's in such a place where like I feel like there would be backlash, and there's always backlash about Rockstar.
Makes them.
I know. There's always backlash about Rockstar Games, GTA. Come on.
Yeah.
GTA was in the news for years.
And by the way, that was engineered by them. Dan Houser, like the way that he got, like it was a marketing ploy. Like he went into, especially for GTA 1, he went into this big interview with this company and talked about how raunchy and crazy it was. And then that's when all the Congress people started talking, we need to ban this. And it was just hand over fist making money. So they played that really well.
Yeah. So it's like, do they give another team their IP like Remedy or like they're doing with Remedy, and they're giving Remedy Max Payne?
So I think that's what they're setting up there with this.
Because really clearly they can only focus on 2 games. Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
They can't make Bully. They can't do Max Payne.
Unless they put those to the side for a moment.
Right.
I would like
this
to see
medieval IP. And I think that would be really cool, but like, well, obviously this medieval IP would have to be made by them, but other IPs, can be tossed off.
Well, no, I think especially like a Max Payne, because Remedy made those, right? That's that, and they were yeah, right. So
yeah,
I think they learned their mistake from the GTA trilogy, who was made by like Grove Street Gaming, which did their like mobile ports,
right? And we didn't really talk about that, but the disastrous launch,
launch, yeah,
of not even a remake, a remaster, the simplest of simple,
yeah.
I mean, I can't really speak to the dev perspective, but
apparently that engine that was made on is like if you pull, it's like a needle in a or like you pull one piece out and it kind of starts to tumble. So they really apparently it's tough to work with, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? What we saw with Insomniac was they remade a Ratchet and Clank remake. They made another one. They made not a sequel, but they made a sequel to their actual Ratchet and Clank timeline. Yeah. I think we'll see the same thing with Max Payne. Max Payne 3 was our last entry in the series. We're getting a remake for 1 and 2.
You can't forget.
If they sell well, we'll get another Max Payne.
Now, Gooch, you're forgetting the most important Max Payne content of them all.
The movie?
Mr. Mark Wahlberg's Max Payne. He's a Max Payne. What's a Max Payne?
I've never seen it.
I
kind of forget.
I don't even know it. But no, I would like. I'm gonna segue here a tiny bit. I love, or sidebar, I should say. I will give Bethesda credit for saying we want to do a different IP. We want to make a new one. We're not just going Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls. Yeah. They were like, creating a new one. That's why I genuinely hope after GTA 6, we get that medieval thing, whatever. Something totally new. I want them to really, not new in the way of, I think it should always be a third-person narrative-driven game because they're so good at making those and they can make them in a very interesting way. But I do want a new IP from them. I would genuinely, bring out.
I think the world would like to see something.
I think if they really wanted to make people go fucking like, what? You'd make a Manhunt 3.
Yeah, we were talking about.
And Manhunt, I like totally forgot that game even existed. Apparently, it exists.
Do you know what
GTA.
other IPs they own off the top of my head?
No, I don't.
Rockstar
IPs. Mine, yours. Who cares? Rockstar Red. I can't. It's kind of hard for me to say. Fear. I guess
that's a Rockstar IP.
Fear, let's see. I don't know. Fear the Apocalypse. Oh, these are just genre. Okay. I don't know. I can't really see. It seems,
okay. Don't worry about it.
But no, I would really like to see them expand. I mean, Red Dead was a big leap for them. I felt like in the way of doing
They
something
bought
new.
Revolver,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they made. I think
They did not make Revolver.
They didn't make Revolver, but I think they published it. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, L.A. Noire, we haven't talked about. I mean,
LA, that was before. Yeah, that was before GTA.
We did our podcast, I think in the summer, it was the Curious Case of L.A. Noire.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, and like what happened with Team Bondi, and then, that was a big case of crunch culture and toxicity in
Probably
the
one
workplace.
of the most egregious examples you could genuinely
but
find.
it mostly happened within Team Bondi itself, and Rockstar just kind of let it fester.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really do anything
They
about
really
it. Was Dan Houser involved in the writing of that?
I think they were. I think they were helping. Like,
Was
I
it
could
like
be wrong?
Tangentially, like their hands were in it? Or
I
they're
think
like,
so,
"We
but they
fucking
weren't like
wrote
running.
this"?
Who wrote L.A. Noire? Let's see.
Gino wants to know.
Yeah, he does. La 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 la. Team Bondi developed. Rockstar. Development. Where's development? After the release, Brennan Maximat, Sydney, blah 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 blah. Oh no, it does. It looks like it is a different.
Totally different team.
Yeah, Brendan McNamara. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I
so
remember that
was
name being tossed around
Yep.
when we were talking about that podcast. Go check that out.
Absolutely. But no, I think this Max Payne is a setup for a Max Payne 4 or something. Yeah, I think this is
to gauge
absolutely.
interest.
Yeah,
And I've never played Max Payne. I don't have any affinity for those.
I never have
games.
either. No, it was like the one that really kind of not invented, but like brought bullet time into games. Like that was its big gimmick.
And,
right?
and that
Stuff
was like the
that.
same thing. I mean, like Remedy kind of did it with Alan Wake. Control did really well.
And we have Alan Wake 2 coming out. I forgot
Right.
about that.
It's kind of funny to look at Remedy and look at unfortunate failure of Quantum Break and how that didn't really do anything for them, and
Yeah.
it was supposed to.
Sure.
And then Control comes out, and Control, like out of nowhere, was like
still need to beat that
a very critically acclaimed game.
Yeah, it is.
By fans and critics.
Yeah.
And that paved the way for them to do an Alan Wake remaster, do that Control DLC,
And now we're getting Alan
put
Wake 2.
the seeds of Alan Wake 2 coming out, and like that's a really
It's a bit of an
interesting
underdog story, honestly.
Yeah,
They kind of came
yeah.
back, and I'll give them a lot of credit. And I liked Quantum. What is it? Quantum Dream?
Break.
Quantum Break. God damn it.
Quantum
I actually
Dream and Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Okay. I thought Quantum Break
Yes.
was really interesting in some respects, but it just wasn't quite there. The gameplay was very cool and interesting.
You know what's funny? I really liked the TV show thing they did.
No,
with
I
that.
thought it was cool. It was different,
Yeah,
for sure.
and that's I think why I enjoyed it so
I
much.
appreciated them taking the risk at
And
the time.
we had Aidan Gillian from Game of Thrones fame, of course, Sean Astin, Iceman.
Yeah.
Lance Reddick. Come on. We had a good cast.
The best.
Courtney Hope, who plays
Oh, is she in that?
she's Beth Wilder, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
how she got her
That
start
makes sense.
in video games.
Interesting.
I
love
wonder
it.
if I think in Alan Wake too she'll what's her name? Jesse Faden
Yeah,
from Control.
will show up.
They're gonna cross.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Because
makes
like
sense.
that DLC is like about Alan Wake.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
the Control DLC. I forget what it's called, but it's about
That
it
might
is
be
about
my
Alan
that
Wake.
might be my summer game this year. I have to. I should beat Control. I really should.
I have Alan Wake original and American Nightmare from Control.
I do
But
too. Actually,
I at this point just play the remasters.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are games that
that's one of Ian's favorite. My roommate's Ian. It's
that
one of his
game
favorite games.
is always. There are people who go, "Oh, yo,"
And
Alan
especially as
Wake.
not a gamer, like he's not really a gamer,
Right.
so
like,
it's
I love Alan
interesting.
Wake, and
Yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, I remember when that game came out and it was kind of like good, but like it's always had that underdog, cult following.
yeah, awesome. So we're coming somewhat up on the end here. Thank you all for joining us on this a longer one. But let's get into GTA 6.
Has it been that long?
Has it? Well, I guess you're right. What time did we start? Probably an hour.
I don't
Yeah, I
feel
guess
like
you're
we've
right.
been sitting here that long.
All right, Gooch. You know what? Just let me go. Anywho, GTA 6. What do we know so far? So you can Google GTA 6 leaks, and you'll probably find a lot.
Yeah,
It's tough to really
World
parse
Map was,
through.
like, one of the first ones.
There is a map out there that to me looks pretty legit. And
Hey man, if those new video leaks were real with Kingdom Hearts 4, this is fucking.
well, dude, Red Dead 2's map, full map, leaked like 3 years before the game came out on Reddit. You can look at- I did not know
I
that.
remember you talking about it.
Well, it was funny. I don't think I even
People
saw,
data mine, dude. People.
Oh, it's
find
insane, and it's crazy what people can do. But so the most recent rumors that have been circulating, this is like within the past month, is that there will be multiple protagonists once again. GTA 6 will have two, a brother and a sister who get separated in the game's prologue set during 2003 after their parents are killed. So
when did GTA 5 take place? Modern
present
time?
day. So 2013, whenever that was set.
Okay.
So the way I was reading, I was confused on if it's saying like they lose their parents in 2003 and then it skips ahead,
jumps, right.
or it's in 2003. I'd be surprised if they were doing like, unless it was like an 80s style, like a real throwback. I'd be surprised if they just went like 2000
period piece.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. I hear
So
you.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see how real that is. Those rumors also point to it coming relatively soon for what they've been saying in 2024. I mean,
I was gonna say it has to be 2023, 2024.
with apparently, possibly marketing beginning this holiday. With a GameStop like cover and all that stuff. They seem to usually always do that.
Game Informer?
Game Informer. Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think Red Dead was announced 2 years before it came out, and I think it did get delayed a little bit.
Did
if
that
I remember correctly.
dissatisfy you because you have
Yeah,
such
I don't
hot
like
takes about
I
games
don't
that are announced
like you
early?
announcing it. I mean, 2 years, okay, fine, but 4 years is when you start getting to me where I'm like,
And I know we were talking about off mic when I was like, yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced today, obviously hype for that.
yeah,
And legendary Kingdom Hearts 3's timeline
sure,
was all over the place, and I'm like, sorry, I had a frog in my throat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Essentially, I'm like, you'll see that game at least by the end of 2024. And I'm like, well, here's your one reason. They're using Unreal Engine 5 from the get-go, and that's a widely supported engine, and everyone's using it, and their development time is going to not suffer because of they're using a proprietary engine.
no, it's interesting, and
So-
like with GTA, of course, obviously they're using their proprietary, so it's
But yeah, who knows? Like, they could run into issues.
Absolutely.
With things.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to do
for
with
sure.
this one.
But so yeah, relatively soon release of 2024. I was looking up articles on this. It was so funny, and like they were from like 2009, and they were like,
What?
I'm sorry, 2019. My apologies. And it was like, yeah, it was talking about GTA 5's figures, and it was like, yeah, and then we'll get GTA 6 probably sometime in, I don't know, 2021. And I'm reading this now like, you had no idea. You idiots. You have no clue what you're waiting for. So, yeah, I mean, this has been it's an almost 10-year development cycle if they started from when GTA 5
I mean,
came
it
out.
sounds like every game they've ever put out
Has just started right from the other one. So
development cycle.
I mean, yeah, Red Dead 2 was 8 years, I think, 8 or 9. So other rumors have been circulating as well. The big one is the multiple locations one. I'm curious to see if they're going to do it. There have been multiple locations in other GTA and Red Dead games. I mean, you go to that Guarma, of course, in Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
And then there's like in even San Andreas, you go to Liberty City for a mission. You fly to Liberty City and then come back. So I don't know how, but like supposedly you're going to be able to fly freely through to these different cities, possibly in even different countries. Cuba has been mentioned, but the big ones that have been mentioned, region and city wise, are both Vice City and Liberty City. Supposedly you're going to be able to go back to them. Vice City, of course, being the Miami analog, which we get in Vice City. But also another one that has been rumored is Carcer City, which has only been mentioned in other games and is the setting of Manhunt, which is interesting. It's supposed to be like the American Rust Belt, an analog for that. And the more I read about it,
What's the American Rust Belt?
like just like the kind of middle America, just like things like, things are kind of closing down and shutting down. Like it's kind of a dying city. The way they're describing it sounds more like a Detroit, but I kept seeing Chicago being compared to it. So I don't know. It sounds somewhat interesting. I don't know much about that. I kind of like the idea of having a brand new city, but I also do love the idea of seeing Vice City again and really being able to explore that. If you want to look up that map that's been leaked, I don't think it really ruins anything, but it's more of if you would like to. It looks like a fucking huge map. I mean, they matched up San Andreas to it, and it's like twice the size. And I think San Andreas is probably just as big as Red Dead, as the northern part in Red Dead. So, they get the size done, but the only thing that scares me with multiple cities like that is that makes Rockstar divert its time, which I guess would make sense with such a long development schedule. I mean, you're spending 2-3 years on each city, maybe 4 years even, and then you got to obviously perfect them. So I don't know, Gooch, are you gonna play GTA 6?
Probably not.
You're really gonna skip
I've
it?
never been a GTA guy.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Even after Red Dead 2.
I don't know.
There is something to a Western. I do get that.
I don't even think that was it for me with with Red Dead. I don't know. Something's gonna have to stick out to me. Something stuck out to me about Red Dead 2. I pre-ordered it, got it on launch.
Interesting.
The game kind of spoke to me in a way, and I'm not really big on Westerns, and that kind of made me like Westerns a little bit more.
I would agree with that, actually. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the trailer is just gonna really have to something's
like
gonna
wow
have to
you.
jump out at me, and I don't know what that is.
Is it just because these games aren't like you don't like? What is it about a GTA 5 that because like that story is really good. GTA 5. I mean,
I'm
it's
sure
about
I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I something's gonna have to just attract me and jump off, because I feel like it is like the settings are really not plebeian but normal.
Oh yeah, well it's true. You could go to that city in real life if you want to.
Nothing is oh yeah, I'm just killing people, and
I guess it's more what you can do in that city.
Crime and heist. It was fun as a kid playing GTA. I had played GTA games, so I'm not a total noob.
Whatever, narc. No.
Yeah, but especially as I got older, I never was I want to get GTA 4. I don't think I ever played GTA 4. Actually, I played Vice City, San Andreas, and 3. But GTA 4 and 5, I've never actually played.
GTA 4 is a really interesting beast in the way you can tell they were just right on the cusp of this brand new technology with their engine and the way the physics work in that game. You drive around like your car weighs 80 tons. I don't understand it. You have to
the jump from that early 360 gen is a very interesting time.
It
where,
is.
The games are transitioning to the PS2,
more realistic,
Xbox, GameCube games to getting better in graphics with the 360, but there's this awkward middle phase of things just looking weird, and I think there's some charm to that. I'm not saying it is a bad thing. It's just kind of how the technology just naturally progressed into what we have now.
No, it's
now we're most games are hyper real, and if they're not hyper realistic, they have an aesthetic to them. That is why they're not.
That's almost immersive.
Kingdom Hearts 4 is a fucking great example of that. We went from I wouldn't call Kingdom Hearts cartoony, but whatever that is, Japanesey, over-exaggerated, weird clothes. That's Tetsuya Nomura style. But now Kingdom Hearts 4, for also lore reasons, very hyper-realistic.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
strange. I don't know. I feel like it's the only natural progression we have, and we've kind of hit that progression's endpoint.
Yeah.
How good can graphics get?
Well, that's I think we're getting
we've
to
hit the point.
We've hit the point where it's the fine details now. It's the reflections.
Yeah, it's the lighting.
It's the lighting. It's how things reflect off surfaces. That's truly, even I'm playing Red or GTA with the update, the reflections are what, and I say this to Ian all the time. They're insane. It really is. You see the reflection of the building off your car as you're driving by.
Yeah.
The way after it just rains, there's puddles on the ground, and it's reflecting the building off it. It's those little minute details that take it from that uncanny valley almost. I think that really is kind of starting to do it. But so some other stuff coming back supposedly for GTA 6 is a lot more stamina management, and you can go to the gym, you can work out. It depends on what you're eating matters. It's a lot more effective like that, like it was in San Andreas, where you could get fat and you had to go to the gym to work out and keep yourself lean.
And Red Dead too.
Yeah, to a degree for sure. But it's funny, I never got I never really got fat as Arthur.
I feel like it's kind of hard. How the fuck are you getting fat?
You just have to be overeat. You can overeat, but you're in San Andreas, your guy was noticeably fat. Whereas in Red Dead Online or Red Dead, it doesn't seem to you don't seem to notice it as much. It just affects your stats. You know what I mean?
Right, and you see the weight thing
exactly go down. Yeah.
So I think underweight was more the issue in Red Dead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do wish that there was. I know that it's already survival-ish, but I wish they put out a hardcore survival mode for Red Dead. I think that would be so much fun. Anywho, so that I think kind of wraps it, Gooch. There's really not much else to say about the state of Rockstar. I'm hopeful and pessimistic at the same time about what's going to happen after GTA 6. Seeing these shakeups.
Yeah.
It's never nice. The change can always be scary, but
change, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's where we're at. I'm a little bit down on Rockstar right now, but they've still made some of my favorite games of all time. And I just want GTA 6 already, Gooch. I just want it in my fucking hands. And I want to see Vice City or wherever we are. I would actually probably be a little bit more excited if it was that like Carcer City and somewhere brand new that they created and somewhere that we've never been. But we'll see.
And that, folks, is the state of Rockstar.
That is. Guys, thank you so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Network. We very much appreciate you being with us. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all the social medias as well, at Delco Nerds on basically everything. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord channel, which is linked at the bottom of this video or in this podcast that you're listening to. So come and join us there. We're definitely discussing stuff like Rockstar and Kingdom Hearts even. So other than that, all this information can be found on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can shoot us an email at delconerds@gmail.com with all your comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.